Hey Eurovision fans, today I'm giving you my analysis of Spain's entry for Eurovision 2025. It's Melody singing Esa Diva. I'm going to listen and react to the live performance, give you my thoughts on the song and this package, talk about how it could do in the Eurovision final, and we'll talk about Spain's trajectory in the contest. So, let's kiki. Hi, my name is Tom. I'm an Irish Eurovision analyst, and you can find all of this stuff on my Eurovision channel. So in case you're new to my channel, a little bit of a disclaimer. I do give quite honest reviews about songs, and I do give criticism. I try to make it as constructive as possible. If you've come here for a raving review, I am going to give positives, but I'm also going to give negatives. Just so you know, I am not bitter this year. Last year, I totally admit I was super bitter. I loved San Pedro. I was really upset when he didn't win, which is why I took a week until I filmed my reaction to Nebulosa, and I'm really glad I did that because I really ended up enjoying that song. This year I don't feel bitter. I was kind of expecting this was going to happen because Melody was the favourite to win. I'm not feeling bitter this year. I feel fine. I'm only filming this a day after the result. Okay, before we talk about Melody and check out our song, let's quickly touch on Benidorm Fest. I really love Benidorm Fest. I have to admit, after my reaction video, I wasn't really feeling the songs this year, so I kind of checked out for around 4 or 5 weeks. But when it gets to Benidorm Fest week, I get totally absorbed. I think the show is so well put together. Graphics look great. The show is very quick and snappy. They had these really nice intros and outros for all the artists. The voting was a little bit better this year. It was a little bit more exciting because we weren't given spoilers about the final. The hosts are good. It looks slick. Just everything's really entertaining. Some national finals are very boring to watch. I don't feel bored watching Benidorm Fest. I wasn't expecting to get super into it this year because I wasn't mad on the songs. Ended up getting totally wrapped up. So it's just a very entertaining show, and I continue to look forward to it every single year. It feels like an integral part of the national final season. Of course, I did my reaction video to the songs in mid-December. Let's check out some of the highlights from my first ever listen to Esa Diva. Maybe this is Sofia Kahl's song. It feels very similar to Cuvée. I think I prefer this over Cuvée though. Again, I'm getting Eurovision 2006 with a Spanish guitar. I just don't think this is the type of thing that would do well in the Eurovision final. But I think Euro fans might like this. Vocoded Diva. Ah, yes. What a moment. Now that's a note. Is she gonna be like a vocal powerhouse? Because that really could help her stand out. It just sounds a little bit too formulaic to me. Don't know how that could do super well in Eurovision. Now back in the present, you have video evidence of the fact that I thought the song was stated there. So you can't accuse me of just saying afterwards. I had absolutely no idea when I was doing that review that Melody was a potential winner because I had no idea about this huge fan base she had. Okay, now we're going to check out the live performance. I'm definitely going to get copyrighted for this. I'll leave as much of the original audio and visuals in as possible, but I'll put the original up onto my Patreon. Melody singing Esa Diva, wanna know my secret band? Nice little Spanish beginning on the guitar. Very striking beginning, her with her Melania hat and the lights on her. Very extra. And the lights shining on her butt. Love it. I don't get it, but I like it. Coming down from the seat. It's very drama. Giving diva, obviously. This staging is actually quite complicated. She's a lot of work to do. Falling backwards off her chair onto the floor. She's working for her money. So we've got this first tableau with the dancers introduced. I like this graphic. It's kind of cool. The dancers are a little bit stereotypical. We get a lot of this every year in Benidorm Fest. 5 male dancers. Choreo-wise, I think it's okay. It's a bit generic. Not really any interesting new moves here. She's amazing. Like, her voice is great despite the fact she's moving around so much. It's very impressive. Styling-wise, I'm going to go into this later. I don't like the styling. Yeah, there's some of the graphics as well behind. Just maybe a little bit more modern. It does look quite 2010s. But she's given great. Look how much she's moving. She's up in the air. The vocals don't falter for a millisecond. She's bending back. She's amazing. Like, I have zero problem with her ability. Performance-wise, it does feel a little bit dated. The staging concept. But yeah, cardio-wise, this woman has been doing 50,000 steps a day. The diva dance break is a little bit facepalm, but I like that spin. I think that looks really cool. And with the camera turn, that's one of my favorite bits. Yeah, dancers, it's just like, come on, it's just, let's do something a little bit new. The choreo is not fresh to me. Fabulous big note, which she struggled with in the semi-final, didn't bother, came back and delivered it. That is impressive. Okay, losing it a little bit there, but still, she's really into it. You can see the passion. I think she does a hair helicopter now, doesn't she? Don't do that. It didn't work for Ranella, it's not going to work for Melody. And another flip. That's a very beautiful flip, by the way. That real salsa. I think that's a salsa move. Okay, look. Don't worry, this review is not going to be all doom and gloom. Let's start with the positives. My biggest positive by far is Melody. What a performer, my god. I always talk about how incredible Chanel was and how I don't feel like she got enough jury points for the fact that she delivered that vocal performance while doing the most. She did the most. She went all over the stage. She was up in there, she was flipping, people were pulling her legs apart, and she still sounded so good. I think Melody's in that category as well. I really do think that these women, it's because it's usually women who are doing these up-tempo curves. We get very few men doing them. I think they need more credit for this. It's so freaking difficult. Not just to have the cardio capacity, but to not get breathy, to keep the microphone at the same distance. It's so technically challenging. And I do think that these women need to be given more points. I think they need to make the jury run laps outside while singing to realize how difficult it is to do this. This is one of my pet peeves. I feel like, of course, it's easier to do a good vocal if you're standing still, but then you should be marked down for the staging for the fact you're standing still and doing nothing. I really do hope she gets marks for that because she's a workhorse. It's so impressive. She's doing so much and she's having to serve personality and keep her composure throughout the whole thing. Fantastic. Zero problems with Melody as a performer. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the song. And I'm so glad I have that video evidence of me being completely innocent, not knowing that this was a favorite, saying that this song was dated, because this song is so dated. So many people saying that it sounds like a song from the noughties. This has no freshness at all. I don't think there's much evidence for these type of dated songs doing well in Eurovision. One example I can think of is Gustav. That was even more nostalgic. Plus, he had really sharp LEDs. He had kind of a modern twist in his staging. I actually think that the final product looks modern with his styling and how they did the staging. So I actually think Gustav did a good job at mixing nostalgia and modern and gave a package. Plus, just the reality is we don't get that many male upbeat bops, whereas we get a lot of female upbeat bops, so it just doesn't feel as special. So yeah, the song for me is a big problem. It is getting a revamp apparently. I don't know what kind of revamp it's going to get. I don't want anything in English. I think it sounds great in Spanish, but I just want maybe some modern production. I just want some modernity. Just bring me even 5 years into the future. Take me out of the noughties, bring me into the 10s, bring me into 2015, 16, and I'll be happy. Just bring me somewhere within the last 10 years. This is why I like something like JK Bello, which I felt had a little bit more of a fresh production style. In terms of the song meaning, I'm not getting anywhere near the depth that we got last year with Nebulosa, which I thought had a really fun, sarcastic, sardonic take on the double standard that women have to face. This for me just feels like a song about divas. The song is called That Diva. I know there's going to be people in the comments gaslighting me into saying that this is some deep, meaningful song. I don't think it is. I think this is in the same vein as I'm powerful, I'm invincible, I'm a titan, I'm strong, I'm stronger, I'm invincible, I'm invisible, I stand tall, I stand strong. All these cliches that we get every single year. It just feels in that same vein. I looked through the lyrics. I couldn't pick out anything that felt very special or a new way of doing it. I'm not saying I don't like these female empowerment songs or any kind of empowerment songs. I do like them. I just like them when they're done in an original way and not just rehashing I'm invincible that we've had before. Examples are Veronica. I love how she did that last year, how she was talking about female empowerment with this comparison with Veronica. I love Zari talking about stresses she faces as a woman and having to take a risk and roll the dice. I love Nebulosa. What a perfect example of doing a female empowerment song, but in a really original way. This song, though, Esa Diva, feels more like 1998 diva. I'm a diva, I'm Cleopatra, that kind of stuff. It's just not original. That's fine. The song doesn't have to be deep. Not everything has to be like a deep and meaningful sonnet, but then I want the song to be better. This song for me is just okay. It's not bad at all. It's okay. It's dated. It's fun. It's just too much 20 years ago. This would have been top 5 20 years ago. I think 20 years later, I think it might be bottom 5. Staging wise, I think there's really fun elements. I love that flip. It's actually quite cute. She's clearly able to do a lot. It does feel like they've just had all these ideas and there's zero editing. So maybe like to see a little bit of editing, maybe some cooler camera cuts. The 5 dancers thing, I don't know, it's fine. It feels hyper done to me. I would like if maybe their choreography was a little bit fresh or different. This is another great thing about Chanel is that I loved what Kyle Hanagami did with the choreography for Slow Mo because it did feel original to me and it didn't feel like this super generic five guys going unce unce. So I would love this to have a choreography revamp, change their styling, make it just less cliche. That I think could really, really help as well. So I definitely think there's room for improvement in the song and the performance. I think if they make some good editorial decisions, elevate this, definitely this could fare better in Basel. Okay, let's talk about a bigger picture thing now, which is the current state of Eurovision in Spain. 2023, Blanca Paloma went to Eurovision with Ea. Spanish people were super proud of Blanca, I agree. Of the song, I completely agree. Of the performance, wow, I definitely agree as well. And they got paid dust. I also agree that was really crappy. And those people who don't like Ea, I thought Ea was totally and utterly robbed in the televote, and it was upsetting. Fast forward 1 year, Nebulosa are chosen. A lot of the Spanish community are saying, we got paid dust last year. This year we want to send what we want to send. That represents us. Makes sense to me. I was also a little bit pissed off. Fast forward to this year, and we're starting to hear the same narrative again. Spain will send what it wants. I'm not buying it as much this year as I did last year. My perception of the Spanish Eurovision community is up there as this really intense core minority within the Spanish fandom who are hyper intense, hyper passionate, can be quite aggressive, and they love pop, diva, diva pops, female empowerment, pop, diva pops, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with liking that. I like a lot of those songs as well, but they're quite fervent and intense in their passion. I also feel like there's a majority of Spanish fans who are just like regular Eurovision fans from any other country. So I do feel like there are these two groups, which is why I always go so much out of my way in my videos to say some of the Spanish Euro fans. You'll notice that in all of my Spanish videos, because I really do feel like these two groups need to be separated. This core group, I think, are this year also saying, we're Spanish fans, we do what we want. I think they're trying to speak for everybody this year, but I don't believe it like I did last year, because I'm not seeing the same universal support I saw for Nebulosa last year. I saw people cheering for Melomana, for J. Cabello, La Chispa before her vocals didn't really deliver, and Daniela as well. I saw lots of Spanish fans cheering for other people this year. So this isn't some Spanish Euro fans will choose what they want. There are plenty of Spanish Euro fans who wanted other songs and want to do well in Eurovision. But I do feel like there's this core group who want to continue portraying this narrative of we'll send what we want, particularly since it's them getting to choose what they want. That's just my perception. Very, very interested to hear what you think in the comments below. Obviously, keep it respectful. I'm trying to say this in the most respectful way possible as well. But yeah, Nebulosa had a deep meaning. This song doesn't have deep meaning. This is a dated pop diva song from 20 years ago. You know, the whole we'll send what we want, we don't care about results. I think that's going to start getting a little bit old. I do think there's a little bit of responsibility when you're big five to do something in the final, because you are taking up the place of someone who might have qualified from the semi-finals. I feel there's a responsibility there, not just on Spain, on all of the big five. I'm very harsh on Germany as well when I think they don't deliver, and also the UK. Italy and France are very good. I never have trouble with them. They're the good students. Also, from a very selfish perspective, I want to see Spain do well. I want to see them win. I'd love to see them host again at some point. And the thing is, if we keep choosing these quite niche songs that a minority of the fandom is obsessed with, I think Spain's going to continue to do quite badly. I think this core fandom's taste doesn't always align with what's successful at Eurovision. Keep in mind, this fandom didn't pick Chanel in 2022. The jury and the demoscopic jury put her through. This core group, I think, were a large part of what drove Chanel off social media. Remember that she got harassed so much she had to close her social media accounts. This is what I was talking about earlier, about how they can be quite aggressive, passionate and aggressive, whatever way you want to look at it. Like I said, this is a minority. Lots of very normal Spanish Euro fans who do not attack anyone ever and just like the contest. Long term, I think we're going to see the quality of Benidorm Fest go down. If I was a male artist in Spain and I had an amazing Eurovision song, I would be thinking, I can't win Benidorm Fest because I'm not the diva that year. It really does look like the core group is going to pick this upbeat diva song most years, even if it's not what's going to be the most successful. I feel that's frustrating if you're an artist. If you're like, I've got the best song, but it's not diva enough for this intense group who are going to vote a lot. And so you're just going to see the decrease in quality in Benidorm Fest. I've noticed that the last 2 years. I think the last 2 years have had a decrease in variety and quality. We had so many female empowerment songs this year because I feel like those songs have a chance to win. So I think if you are one of those artists, you're going to be like, yeah, I've got a shot at winning Benidorm Fest. I think if you've got a ballad or you're a male artist, I think you've got an uphill struggle. What's a potential solution to this? Well, I think one step is expanding the voting. More and more people voting means that this minority has less control over who goes. The flip side of that is the Spanish general public going to get involved if they're constantly coming bottom 5? They'll probably just start thinking, we can't do well in Eurovision. Europe doesn't like us. The usual stuff that happens when you continually do bad because your songs aren't good enough. So yeah, I don't know how to break this cycle, but we'll have to wait and see what the songs are like next year. I'm expecting it's going to be similar to this year. We've had 4 Benidorm Fests. All 4 winners have been female vocals. Okay, so how is this going to do in Eurovision? Well, I think that the jury is definitely going to respect her vocals and her performance ability. So I think that she's going to get some points from the jury this year. Televote wise, I don't feel like it's the type of thing a lot of people are going to click with. I do feel like the jury score is going to be higher than the televote score. I don't think it's going to be 5 points like Blanca Paloma, but my gut at this point in time is if they send the current package, it's going to be bottom 5. Definitely bottom 5 with the televote. But I think there's opportunities here to modernize. The fact she's doing a revamp shows that she's open to change. Obviously, we only have 7 songs right now, so we don't know what the average standard is going to be like. But I think if it's a medium or strong year, I think this will come bottom 5. Now, Spain's result in Eurovision is not just going to be down to melody. There's also the Spanish delegation to consider as well. The current head of delegation is Ana Maria Bordas, who last year got a bottom 5 placing with Nebulosa. I felt that was a huge opportunity missed. I'm a really good case study of somebody who didn't know the meaning of the song watching it at Benidorm Fest. I thought it was just a retro song with butts, and then when I did my deep dive analysis in my Spain video last year, I read these incredible lyrics with this super interesting history. Tira la copa, Manuela. All this stuff I had absolutely no idea was bubbling underneath the surface. So for me, this was a real delegation fail that they were not able to convey that story on the stage. They should have talked to Nebulosa and said, how can we include this? They could have kept the majority of the staging the same way, but they could have put up some LEDs. They could have had some throwing of the cups, something so that people at home would say, oh, there is actually something going on here. Even if they don't understand the full meaning, they would have registered that there is a story, something that's happening. Maybe they would have asked a Spanish friend. Maybe they would have looked it up. Who knows? But I think as far as 99.9% of casual fans watching Eurovision who don't speak Spanish, they probably just thought this was a song about butts and retro cabaret. So this head of delegation, Ana Maria Bordas, got a bottom 5 in 2024. Let's look at her previous record. She was the co-head of delegation between 2017 and 2021, where she came bottom 5, bottom 5, bottom 5, and bottom 5. Obviously, there is a slight limitation on what head of delegations can do. If the product they get isn't great, there's only so much elevation they can do, but I've seen 0 elevation in all 5 of these stagings. And actually in particular with 2019 Miki Labenda, I thought the staging in that national final was incredible. He was leading this walking band like the Pied Piper. Super fun staging, and for some reason they changed it into this goofy children's show house thing. This delegation, particularly under Ana Maria Bordas, has a history of not elevating or downgrading the performance. You may be wondering what happened in 2022 and 23. There was a different head of delegation. It was Eva Mora, who got 3rd place and 17th place, the 2 best results in the last 9 years. For some reason, she was fired and replaced with the woman who's gotten them 5 out of 5 bottom 5 finishes. I don't understand what's going on. I've asked Spanish people. They've told me that it's internal politics. This for me is a big issue as well. The best person for the job should be running the delegation. That appears to be Eva Mora if you look at results. 3rd and 17th versus 5 bottom 5 finishes. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I find this quite frustrating, as I imagine some Spanish Euro fans do as well. So this is another consideration, is that I don't know if Melody's going to get a lot of innovation and creation from the delegation based on this previous record. So I think that she might have to step up and kind of come up with the ideas herself. We know that Spain has a lot of finances compared to many other countries, so I don't think that's an issue. So I feel a little bit like Melody's on her own this time, and she needs to elevate if she wants to get out of the bottom 5. Okay, let's have a little look at the odds, and we can see that Spain have dropped down. They were 14th before the final of the contest, and now they're at 21st, so they've dropped down. Not much movement in the table right now because people are not willing to bet when there's so many songs that are unknown, which kind of makes sense. She still managed to move down 7 places. I have a feeling that this will sink down even lower. This has 0 chance to win. Absolutely 0 chance. If this wins, it's not winning. I don't even need to come up with a penalty that I'll do. Absolutely 1000% not winning. The main goal for this right now is to get out of the bottom 5, see if it can creep its way onto the left side of the table. I think that would be a huge victory. Okay, finally, let's have a look at the Eurovision community on the Eurovision scoreboard and see how they have this ranked. And this is currently ranked 5th out of 7. So not a great sign, because usually Eurovision scoreboard has a big soft spot for female upbeat bops, and it's in 5th out of 7. That is really, really not a good sign. If you're sending a female bop, it should be number 1 in the Eurovision scoreboard. But let's wait and see what the final package looks like. Okay, that's what I thought about Melody singing Esa Diva. What did you think? Please leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you to those who've been supporting me on PayPal and Buy Me Coffee. If you want to support the channel, I'll leave a link for you here. And of course, thank you to all my wonderful patrons for patronizing me from all around the world. On my Patreon, you can get the original audio, early releases, you can be in the credits, and you can support the channel. So go check that out if you're a fan. But of course, thank you so much just for being here, and I hope to see you in another Eurovision analysis video very, very, very soon. Goodbye.